Um, I would like to ask you to keep your mics muted during the presentations. In between, we will always give you the chance to ask your questions or make comments. So if you have any questions, you can either drop them in the chat. We will monitor the chat, or after a presentation, you can just raise your hand, and then we will give you space to raise your questions or make your comments. Um, yeah, just grab a drink or something while we're waiting for the others to join us, and then we'll start in a few minutes. I think we just get started. Um, my name is Anja Weber. I'm here on behalf of HSWT, and I welcome all of you to the second day of our webinar series on e-internship. And today we are focusing on e-internships in youth organizations. Welcome to everybody who is here with us today. We appreciate your interest and being here with us. Let us dive in. I would like to give a special warm welcome to our FOPs. Um, you might ask yourself, what are FOPs? FOPs are friends of the project, and we would like to engage with as many friendly people as possible to have them participate in our own activities and initiatives, and to use their network to amplify and multiply our own work. So this is the power of friendship that we are hoping to use. And if there's anybody from our group of friends here today, maybe you can just give us a quick shout out so we can give you a moment to introduce yourself. Dragana, Matt, is there anybody who's raising their hand? There any of the special invitees group here today? Doesn't seem so. Then anyway, um, if you are here and you're too shy to raise your hand, you're very welcome. Let us give you a little bit of an overview of what AgriMocks actually is. AgriMocks is an Erasmus Virtual Exchange program, and it's run by partners from 7 different countries, and it will run through 26 and 27. And it's a virtual internship program and the internships will always run for about 6 weeks. What is it that we want to do? We see that young people have a limited set of skills, and we would like to give them a safe space and an opportunity to have to make some structured and hands-on experience, and then to apply their skills in meaningful ways in real world problem solving. And then hopefully at the end of the internship, they will be ready and empowered for future challenges. What we want is to give young people a real practical experience in entrepreneurship, in civic engagement, and innovation by offering a structured virtual internship that helps them to turn what they learn into real action. And the topics or the guiding mottos behind this internship, this is what we will reflect on during the presentations today, so that you get a good understanding of what is guiding us for this internship. It is framed in such a way that we have 3 tracks in the internship. Track 1 is learning input. Track 2 is actually the virtual company where students or young people play in company. And then in the final week, we have a simulation and a competition where young people will then pitch a civic initiative that they developed throughout the internship. What does it look like in detail? So in track 1, we have a online learning platform where participants can, at their own pace, at their own convenience, access learning materials where we give them background information, resources, and so on. But that was also accompanied by mentor-led sessions where they reflect on their learning. And in track 2, we form an actual virtual company with a team of participants who are then the employees in the company, and they will have a boss who is a real-life entrepreneur, usually from Africa, who then also provides the challenge or the problems that he or she faces in their company, and that the team of participants now will be challenged to solve. One of the problems might be, for example, a civic participation or a civic activity that they will develop for their pitch at the end. As I said, it's all capped by a simulation, a 3-day simulation in the last week. And then at the very end of the program, we have the competition where the participants pitch their community project. So this community project is a theme that runs through the whole 6 weeks, and they concurrently develop through what they learn, what they apply. And then at the end, we'll have a competition across the national projects. What is our goal with the AgriMocks e-internship? We want to give young people an opportunity to learn about the structures of companies, the functions in a company, the roles and responsibilities. And we want to let them actually experience teamwork and communication across different languages and collaboration across different cultures. All of that in an entrepreneurship setting. So we try to give them a real world experience where they have to innovate, where they learn business basics to make them ready for entrepreneurship. And then they also, in the end, they will have everything that they need to develop a pitch and to present a pitch. And all of that is going to be combined with regular reflection on their personal growth and their career aspirations. Let me quickly give you a weekly overview of how the program flows. So we have on track 1, the online learning platform, where participants are expected to spend about 4 to 5 hours per week at their own pace, at their own convenience. Then we have mentor-led sessions, 90 minutes per week. And then we have the company sessions with the entrepreneur, where the participants get together with their boss and their team for 4 days a week in 30-minute sessions. And then this is framed by a kickoff meeting, a midpoint reflection meeting, and a final meeting where we have the competition pitch. That is so much, as much as I want to give you for now about AgriMocks. My colleagues from our different partners and different countries will now go into their presentations and give you a deeper insight into the topics behind AgriMocks. And I would like to start you off with my colleague from Ethiopia, from Hawassa University. Teruso, are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
Okay, then let me mute myself.
Say proceed.
You may just dive.
Okay, thank you, Anya, for the introduction. Hello, everyone. I'm going to present the topic on tune transition. So in my presentation, I'm going to present the concept of tune transition, its importance, and the way how we integrate with youth organization. And finally, I conclude my presentation by presenting the link between tune transition and the AgriMock project. Just to start from the concept of tune transition refers to the parallel and interconnected process of the digital transition as well as the green transition. So it focuses on using digital technologies to accelerate sustainable goals, and at the same time it is going to assure that this using of digital technologies are environmental friendly. So as clearly understand, this twin transition has 3 major important concepts. The first one is digital transition. So digital transition is all about the widespread adoption of the digital technologies into all aspects of the economy and society, just to improve efficiency and create new values. So majorly it focuses on integrated modern digital tools like internet, artificial intelligence, and different digital tools, just to in the operation of the organization, infrastructure, and societal system. And the second concept of tune transition is green transition. So simply, green transition involves reorienting economic, industrial, and social practice toward sustainability. So it majorly focused on reducing environmental impacts and promoting circular economy principles. Specifically, just when we say circular economy principle, it has 3 major principles. The first one is reducing waste and pollution. So the process of producing any product as much as possible should desire to use few raw material, and it has to be used for durable and should produce less wastes. The second principle is reusing and repairing products. And the third principle is recycling materials at the end should there must be a reusing of that product after the end of the produce product in order to minimize instead of extracting new natural resources. The third concept of twin transition is synergy. So in the twin transition, we do have two major concepts: green transition, digital transition. But these two concepts should mutually reinforcing. That means we know that when our digitally transit, it may have an impact on the environment or sustainability. Whereas it's also possible just to assure sustainability without digital transition. So in twin transition, synergy is a very important concept that assures that there must be strategic approach to addressing both digital and sustainability challenges in a coordinated manner, just to contribute the environmental conservation and responsible resource uses. Just if we clearly understand the concept of twin transition, let's see the benefits of twin transitions. What are the benefits that the organization or the countries is going to be obtained if they implement the principles of twin transition? The first advantage is it accelerates the sustainable innovation. By combining this digital transition as well as sustainabilities, it is possible just to create a new business ideas, a new business models for the world economy, as well as for society, as well as for the consumers. The other benefit is economic competitiveness and resilience. Currently, the current demand of the world is not static, it is dynamic. So the interest is changing day to day. So in order to pace with these changes, it's a must, we have to adopt the twin transition in order to give response for that demand. When we are doing this, we are going to be competitive, as well as we are not going to be shocked by the economy. And it's possible just to become more competitive, resilient, and future-proof. The third is straightforward workforces and skill evolution. As there is a change in the current market, so it helps us to create a labor which has a skill in green and digital skills of the labor force. The fourth importance or benefit is for the policymakers. We know that there are different agreements, conventions like Sustainable Development Goals. So when we adopt this twin transition, it helps the policymakers. It creates a box of framework to align their climate goals with digital transformation agendas. Just to present the alignment between twin transition and sustainable development goals. Generally, we have 17 targets, which is adopted in 2015 as part of 2030 agenda for sustainable development. And when we use these 17 sustainable development goals, almost possible to say 15 of 17 are moderately or directly or indirectly connected to twin transition. From these 17 sustainable development goals, 5 of them are moderately connected as displayed on the PPT, whereas the 6 sustainable development goals are indirectly connected to the twin transition, but 4 of the 17 sustainable development goals are directly connected to the twin transition. Just simply to show how the twin transition contributes to the achievement of the sustainable development goals. If we pick up the 7 sustainable development goals, which is affordable and clean energy, the twin transition advocates that digital tools such as smart grids, internet-based sensors, using renewable energy sources are concepts that are advocates by twin transition, and it directly helps us to attain the sustainable development goal 7, which is affordable and clean energy sources. So we can say that almost all sustainable development goals are interrelated with the twin transition. So let's talk about integrating the twin transition principles in the youth organization. just to understand how the youth organization is going to integrate the twin transition. Let's see, what does youth organization means? Youth organization means it's an institution that brings young people together to learn skill, to develop leadership, and participate in activities that help themselves as well as their communities. So their roles is, the first role is leadership development. That means these institutional organizations are expected to give training for the youth how to lead, mentorship programs, opportunities for young people to lead the projects. The other, they are also expected as a role just to give skill training and capacity building. It's also, they are expected to for advocacy for youth rights. That means they have to give insights to represent youth interest, raise youth voices in public dialogues, influencing policies that affect young people. The other is providing safe spaces and mentorship. That means it's a must from the youth organizations. They are expected to give safe places specifically for the vulnerable and marginalized users. So this is the other role of youth organization. The other, they are expected just to give community services and volunteering. So this, through this youth organization, users are expected to just deliver environmental actions, civic engagement, and social initiatives. The other is networking and partnerships. That means your organization are expected to connect with different partners, governmental and non-governmental partners. So since once this is the roles of youth organization can integrate the principles of twin transition in their operation on different areas, just to see some of the area on which youth organization is going to integrate the principles of your, twins principles. The first area is skill development programs. That means through the skill development programs that youth organization implements, they can integrate by giving different digital skills like coding, artificial intelligence, basic trainings on data skill, digital entrepreneurship. Even that they can give trainings on digital agriculture, digital tools for climate actions, and the other area is on the innovation and entrepreneurship. That means youth organizations can integrate the principles of twin transition by creating innovation hubs for green and digital startups, as example, or by idea competition on innovation labs, which is focused on twin transition teams. They are expected to also support youth lead startups that combine technology and sustainability. So this is the area in which youth organizations are expected to integrate the principles of twin transition. The other focus area is community engagement and awareness. That means youth organization can integrate the principles of twin transition by running campaigns on recycling, cleanup and tree planting, water conservation, which are more or less sustainable or green transition, by using digital platforms, social media, just to spread awareness. And the other area in which twin transition can adopt the, youth organization can adopt the principles of twin transition is partnership and collaboration. That means working with schools, universities, and environmental agencies, they can include or embed the principles of twin transition. So this is some of the areas in which youth organizations are going to implement the principles of twin transition. So at last, just to show you how the twin transition and AgriMocks are aligned, we know that currently agriculture is changing because of new green and digital methods. So if the agriculture sector does not adopt these new methods, young people which are dependent on these sectors are become less competitive. So the current situation suggests that more jobs require technology skills. So the skills needed in the future is totally different from the past. That means there is an increased demand for future-proof educations that incorporate entrepreneurial and digital competencies. Therefore, AgriMock focuses on entrepreneurial learning in the framework of Tune Transition, and AgriMock fosters intercultural dialogue and cross-cultural learning. AgriMock promotes digital competencies, soft skills, and youth empowerment. And lastly, but not least, AgriMocks offers a virtual environment that ensures digital and social inclusion. Thank you very much for your attention. Over to you, Anya.
Thank you very much, Teruso. Do we have any comments, questions in the chat, or anybody raising their hand to ask Teruso any questions regarding his presentation? If not, we can always pick it up later again. Then I would move on directly to our next presenter, who is Nomfundo from South Africa. She is part of NICOSA, a youth organization in South Africa, and she's going to take us through a very interesting topic, which is intercultural dialogue. Nomfundo, are you there?
Yes, Anna, I'm
Well,
right. Thank you.
Great, then I'll just throw you right in.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Greetings from sunny South Africa to everybody all over the world. As you have realized that we now, from the comfort of our homes, we could connect to different parts of the world. My part, which is this topic of youth intercultural dialogue, is a thread throughout this program. And it's something that we are already engaged in as we are sitting in this webinar today. And having said that, in terms of this presentation, I will focus mainly on two parts of it, which will be dialogue outline and meeting of cultures. The dialogue, particularly in this internship program for AgriMocks, is supported by the European Union, and it's to build bridges through culture, assertive speech, and test tolerance, which are core to relationships and work ethic in the workplace or business environment. As you would realize that this internship program is an enabler for youth to develop both entrepreneurial skills, that is within a particular form of employment or company where they're working, they could bring up ideas and those ideas could be carried out. And also on the entrepreneurial side, where they are the creators of the ventures. So this is what would assist them to be able to communicate effectively and safely, cross-culturally and interculturally with those that they're working with, as we are already exposed to this presently. If we're looking at this dialogue, and since this is a virtual interaction, we have to constantly address our cultures to proactively eliminate any bottlenecks, which could be challenges. We also need to ensure that we achieve the deliverables of this internship program. All right, then we're on the first slide, which is the introduction of the dialogue. Looking at the program to be covered under this topic, we have to introduce the dialogue by defining it, stating what it involves, why it matters in the internship program, in the e-internship program, in a formal setting, which would be a situation of dealing with students within a university, or in an informal setting, like in our situation at NICOSA, where we are dealing with community organization, community youth organization within the informal spaces. And people who have been engaged in ethnographic studies, they would know that it is important to find, when you find yourself within a particular community, to immerse yourself in the culture of the community, observing it and really getting to know it. If you're going through the topics on this slide, the aim of the intercultural dialogue within the AgriMocks e-internship is to create cohesion. And what dialogue is, if we would look at the next slide, please, Anya, thank you. Dialogue is respectful, and respectful is the key word. Remember, we said these are key points. keyword. It's a two-way, it involves a two-way conversation, which means that it is shared between people. It could be more than one people, as long as it is in an interactive situation. It is a dialogue focused on understanding. So the undergirding aim is for understanding to happen. And if we are looking specifically at that, we in this program have got 7 countries that are participating in it. We have got 3 from Europe, which is Finland, which is a Nordic country in Northern Europe. We have Germany in Central Europe, and we have got Serbia, which is lying in southeastern and central Europe, located in the Balkan Peninsula. And we are going to be working in this e-internship with all these countries, although we have not, well, some of us might not even have been there or seen these, even on the map for that matter. That's the digital power of technology that we are immersed in through this internship program. The 4 countries in Africa is Senegal, Ghana in West Africa, Ethiopia in Eastern Africa, and my very own country, South Africa. You can already identify the bias with me mentioning South Africa as my own, and that is part of the dialogue. The reason to state this detail, especially giving the detail of these countries, it's important when we are working within the community to have everybody on board. So that is how we actually even get the buy-in of the people who are involved in the program. And that is part of the tools that in this internship, the participant youth or the participant students are going to learn. And the aim of this is to promote inclusion. And unless the people understand what one is talking about, it becomes difficult for them to find their own fit or their own space within the dialogue. And because this e-internship leans more on agriculture, which is the main thing in rural settings in my country, and it's core to this e-internship program, it's actually going to create ripple effects around the areas that are around these communities, because we're not only going to be looking at the organization that we're working with, we are going to be having this open up to participants across South Africa, linking them with the others in the other countries. Cross-cultural learning in e-internship is an opportunity being provided by AgriMocks to enable us to reach the youth, especially in the outlying rural areas who actually usually get left behind, and expose them to cross-cultural exchange or learning of ideas so as to access employment or even create employment within their communities. The digital platform becomes an enabler and the thread that connects the diverse participants. And this could broaden the scope of the young people and stretch their boundaries to understand the work ethic across their immediate borders in Africa and abroad. They would be empowered to understand the dynamics of business in the comfort of their home through digital exposure to intercultural dialogue in this internship, through role plays and actually experiencing this as they interact and pursue this program. Dialogue has to be respectful. And as you remember, I said that is the key word, which is also a universal value worldwide. There's no country that does not value respect. So in whatever encounter that we have in the internship, whether functioning as youth workers in the community organizations or functioning as lecturers in universities or in our intercultural engagements, we maintain a reciprocal decorum. This levels the playing fields, creating inclusion with everybody feeling equally important and appreciated. Looking at what dialogue involves active listening. Active listening is not hearing. The 2 ears on the side of my head are for hearing, but active listening is when, like in this the program in this webinar right now, there is active listening because we've set aside everything that we're involved in today, and we are taking in all that is being presented to us. So it means that in active listening, you need to be intentional and you need to be committed to understanding the other person's culture, which is probably different from yours, without judgment, without condescending in your interaction, because it might not be the language issue, but even the tone of voice. Openness to learning from one another. It's a two-way conversation. There's learning of new things in terms of removing the cobwebs, which are cultural stereotypes. We are very much aware of those, and cultural generalizations. Like when the program, you encounter a person from Ghana, with all its dialects and its languages, you'd not say that you know everything about it. I mean, I know several people in Ghana, but I do not know everything about its culture because it is quite diverse in its language dialects. And so when you are engaged with, like for instance, in this program, we are engaged with our brothers and sisters, a team from Kita, and that team from Kita would help us to explore a bit more about Ghana. If we look at curiosity is a natural thing, and we encourage it, especially amongst the youth. I always believe the youth is always curious, wanting to know more about the other person, because in order for us to cooperate and collaborate to seamlessly function, which we are expected to do within the workplace or within even this internship program, to make this internship program worthwhile, to translate it to the expected outcomes that we need to arrive at, focusing on common goals as peers. Why dialogue matters? Dialogue builds trust. Trust is the anchor in terms of dialogue, because when there is trust, there'll always be pursuit of more and more knowledge. And when there's trust in everything, everything that we do leans on it. And it assures each participant that whatever one is learning, for instance, I would learn much from Anya, getting exposed to whatever is happening in Germany or whatever experiences that she has had, because you're not only interacting with what is happening right now, but you're also drawing from the experience of the person, which could broaden your exposure as well. And this would propel us forward through her culture, that if, for instance, there's an opportunity for you to get an offer from Germany, you would be ready for it, because at least you have got a slight background about the country. Dialogue promotes inclusion, as I've just said, cooperation. It filters stereotypes, creates seamless collaboration, which is a win-win situation for the participants, and a good return on investment for the donors, and equipping the youth in both entrepreneurship, which is workplace idea sharing, and entrepreneurship, which is pursuing their own businesses or creating their own ventures. If I could have the next slide, please. On group reflection, as we go through the program in different spheres of it, we need to hit the pause button and reset. And this we do through individual or group reflections. In this scenario, avoiding negative dialogue eliminates drive. So all the time we would be functioning on the positive note and wanting to know more and be prepared to be vulnerable and express ourselves freely. And conflict is a major time waster, but it's also costly, both physically and mentally, jeopardizing the success prospect of the program, as especially this one being virtual, unlike in a face-to-face programs where you could discuss issues and clear any misunderstanding. May I have the next slide, please, Anya? Meeting of cultures, the flags. The flags are representatives of the countries that I have just mentioned, and flags are important in cultures. They show the identity of the person. Person takes pride in their flag, and whatever is done to the flag, it's of critical importance, even to the country itself. So using the different flags representing the identity of the different countries that are involved in this program, they're not in competition, but they are in collaboration. That is to ensure that the outcome or the goals of this program is achieved, but not only that, but that it ripples positively, impacting surrounding communities, or even having buy-in from other countries. Though we may face divergent cultural challenges in the process, the dialogue would ease those. It would ease the load as we exchange ideas and remove boundaries and harmonize our inputs. And in my country, South Africa, we say that's load shedding, where you just have to shed the load a bit because somebody else has taken a bit from you. The next slide, please. The next slide shows us the cultural iceberg model, which actually brings to a visual a representation of how culture is. Culture is not what you see in the surface. If you are a tourist in Senegal for maybe a month, you would not be able to actually get to the deep culture of it, depending on the contacts that you have there, of course. But even with that, here we have got a cultural iceberg model, which shows us that what we encounter as we meet with people does not actually get into their deep culture. That is what is hidden. And the deep culture involves the most important things, which in this program, we are going to find ourselves immersed in, where we're going to be reflecting on the communication styles of the different countries or the different people, because there's also individuality within this interaction. The social roles, you could be having somebody, like for instance, in Africa, I could be coming from a royal family, and that social role sort of adds something to any relationship, because there's a particular way of behavior that I behave within my country, which is understood, which might not be understood by another person. Also, there would be emotional expressions that would be part of that interaction. But apart from those, in deep culture, we have got also other elements like beliefs, like values, assumptions, thought patterns that truly drive the behavior, urging us to look beyond the surface level of customs for deeper understanding. Surface culture, we'll talk about obvious things like music, language, and if we need to dig deep, then this is where we are going to be exposed to the deep culture of the participating countries that are involved here. And this will draw curiosity as one gets more involved in the culture, sometimes positive or negative encounters, but one also develops resilience by focusing on the bigger picture of the success of the program for all participants. And also, out of this, a new culture would start to birth from the exchange, which is that of maybe assertiveness, where there hasn't been any assertiveness, or even there has been aggressiveness. So all those things are counteracted depending on the circumstances. And this results in growth in the bonds, in the bonding amongst the participants. And next slide, please. What makes culture? All these various elements are part of culture, but in terms of this program, individually and collectively, we are going to be looking at issues of communication. We are going to be looking at issues of time, because time is critical. This program is got timelines, beliefs, customs. Politics are going to be part of what we're going to be talking about. We can't avoid politics. Nature, we're going to be dealing with agriculture, so we need to understand our environment. And also remember, with the climate change, all those things come into the picture. We also need to understand holidays, where I'm not going to be participating because I'm on holiday, or in my country it's a holiday. We're not involved in any form of work. And also, importantly, there's also going to be money. These need to be prioritized in a collective approach, learning from one another and growing together in the program. The next slide, please. Cultural insights. Then this actually displays all the cultural insights that I have picked up, and I just hope for an affirmation from the different countries. But the aim of this is not so much just to know it. It's also to trade with each country for the program, to enrich the program. So we are harmonizing these cultures in order for us to achieve the outcome that we are all yearning for. So in harmonizing this tapestry of cultures, Serbia would infuse us with honesty and order, because Serbia likes hierarchy and they also like honesty, while Senegal, Ghana, and Ethiopia would remind us the disarming power of politeness and respect. especially for elders. Germany would keep us in straight and narrow with adherence to timelines. South Africa will model tolerance, but the ones who would actually just cap it all would be Finland, who focus on equality through being egalitarian. And that is what we need, where we as these 7 countries want to walk away having equally shared and equally dispersed the information, distributed the information that we have been given and put it into good use. And it would also assist us. Remember, I said South Africa needs load shedding, taking off the baggage of sensitivity to inequality. The world of these will be constantly role played in the internship program. So at the end, we hope for a symphony. And lastly, may I have the final slide, please? Final group reflection. As dialogue is a thread throughout the interaction, whether being youth leaders, youth workers in the communities, businesses, or lecturers or students at universities, or as peers in this very e-workplace that we are involved in AgriMocks, we need to be intentional in self-awareness, identifying the cultural elements in our various engagements and collaboration, being cautious in upholding the various cultures of the others. We need to consciously maintain mutual respect while resolute in creating appropriate adjustments in our behaviors through the pause and reset, remember, the reflections, adopting positive life skills against any stereotypes, making room for being sensitive to hierarchy as it relates to the Sabians or the Africans towards their elders, self-awareness where we adapt individual and corporate behavior, aligning to different cultures where there is sensitivity to hierarchy, sensitivity to language in its totality, conflict styles, inclusive participation methods, focusing on shared values, curiosity, and celebrating teamwork, which is the ultimate goal. Thank you for listening to me. Over to you, Anya.
Thank you very much, Nomfundo, for those very interesting insights into intercultural dialogue. I hope you all enjoyed it. Is there anything in the chat, or do we have any questions from the floor? Or comments? If not, then I will move on and invite our colleague Sigureda from EDI in Ethiopia. EDI is an organization that works with entrepreneurship training, and Sigureda is going to enlighten us on the topic of competency framework, which is also one of the major frameworks that we are going to integrate into the AgriMocks e-internship. Sigureda, are you with us? Sigureda, I can't hear you. You might need to unmute yourself.
I can actually see her on here, Anya.
You don't see her?
No.
Then we will jump to the next one and take her on once she is with us. Let me just quickly move through. So the next one would be you then, Matt. So let me just quickly introduce you. So Matt is also from South Africa, like Nomfundo. He's working for a company, it's called BizMetrics, and they offer simulations. And as you learned from my early introduction, at the end of the AgriMocks internship, we will have a 3-day simulation. And Matt is going to give us a little bit of an insight of what that will look like. So Matt, as I know you're here, the floor is all yours.
Thank you very much. And I would just like to pick up on something that Nomfundo said there about culture. And she said if she went to Nigeria and she knew a few Nigerians, she still wouldn't know Nigeria well. You can probably hear I'm not from South Africa, and I've lived there since 2010, and I've I would never try to understand the culture. It's very complex, very complicated, but at the same time, it's fantastic. So, yeah. But with the business play and the virtual simulation, if you looked at the guide, this was really where it fitted in. If you can go to the next slide, please. So yeah, my topic is the business play and the simulation, and they're two different things. And it will be, we really want to try to put delegates into a virtual place at some point where they can bring out all the skills that they would have developed further to or previously to before they start on these modules, because they're separate. And this is just one component of the actual virtual exchange. If you could go to the next slide, please. Now, this is what we envisage the actual simulations to look like. There'll be two parts to it. One is business play, which will come in strand 2. If you look in the middle of the screen there, you'll see 2 grayed out people, one from South Africa and one from Germany. If you look at the top, you can see a blue team from Finland, an orange team from Senegal, down the bottom, a green team from Ghana, and then a red team made up of delegates from Serbia and Ethiopia. Left-hand side, where we would be doing business play, we would get an entrepreneur and we would form teams, as you see on there, with people from different countries from around the world, and we'd have facilitators from different countries in the AgriMocks program. Have an entrepreneur, he will guide delegates that are in teams, and they will pick a social issue that they hopefully will be able to solve. They'll come up with solutions, and they'll virtually collaborate to talk about different issues that they've got in their own countries, and if there are ways that these social problems have been alleviated or indeed solved, so they can come up with ideas on how to solve problems, but also how to interact interculturally with each other. On the right, we see run a business, we see feedback, learn by doing. That's where the delegates would be playing a simulation. So it would build on the business play. Teams would play a simulation, which would be virtual. So it's not real, but teams will feel like they are in a real business. Oh, sorry, next slide. So the entrepreneurship competencies that they build through the simulations, we will align it very much with the Entrecomp framework. And what we want to do is build a mindset where people look for opportunities, where they don't wait for things to come for them, they actually go out and they look for them. So they use their resources, and we'll look for things like leadership and teamwork development. So what we want to try and do is bridge the gap between theory and practice. And if you look at universities that are applied sciences, that's what they do. They go out and they apply what they're learning. That's what we want to try and do through AgriMocks, where we teach, we develop, and then students actually practice what we're teaching them. So we want to try to support as many people as possible that have got limited access to internships, like from rural areas or underdeveloped areas. But we want this to work across Africa and EU in both contexts. Next slide, please. So it's practical. That would be one of the roles of the simulation in AgriMocks, in that it's practical. So they actually get to play. We will support the green and digital transition skills that they've been taught. And obviously the cross-cultural is massive for us, in that we really want to build competencies through teamwork and for the youth, which would be in higher education institutions and for youth workers. So we want to capacitate as well. So we would actually teach people how to use the tools. They'd work by participants running virtual businesses over several cycles. We call those cycles, they could be called rounds or months. So what the actual methodology is that they play, they give them results, they reflect, and then they play again. So they build on really what you could call their learnings. It could be where they might have made a mistake. A facilitator will say, okay, this is what you've done. This could perhaps be a different way of doing it. And they're learning in a real environment, but also working things out between themselves. So they would compete and collaborate. Lots of that where they talk to each other, but we give delegates feedback. They align to our feedback, and then they optimize on the learnings that they've had. So each round it builds understanding, because once a team has seen what they've done wrong, that's the way you learn. It's the same as telling a child not to stick their hand in a fire. The only way they're really going to learn is if they do it for the first time, and then they won't do it again. But I promise we're not going to burn anyone. Next slide, please. Okay. So students can specialize or rotate roles. So in these simulations, in some of them, there'd be CEOs, finance directors, marketing directors, but they might only be that for one round, so that they can rotate. But we would want them to work out between themselves who's got the specific skills in order to be a leader, to be a salesperson, etc. And we want to try to align to courses and modules that are delivered at higher educational institutions. And we can support personalised and inclusive learning pathways. Next slide, please. So the actual background to the simulation, there's a facilitator view. So you get dashboards that can help facilitators to be able to facilitate and give results, and they look like what's on the screen now. So it's very advanced and very kind of like technology based, but results are instantaneous. So we will teach people from higher education institutions and youth workers on how to use the system. Next slide, please. So yeah, this is how we'll be integrating. It's part of a two-phase structured internship model, and the business play will come into the second strand, and the simulation will probably be the end of it. Lots of reflection, lots of dialogue between teams and delegates, and it will complement the soft skills that they've learned earlier on in the program. And we're going to test interest as we go through, because we want to find out who really wants to be an entrepreneur and who would prefer to just be from traditional employment. So the final takeaway, it's just one of the practical components of AgriMocks. Simulations can give youth and higher education students real work experience, and that's one of the things that employers definitely always ask for, a bit of experience. But as we know, when you leave university, it's hard to have experience without being given a chance. So we're going to give them a bit of that. Definitely supports digital and intercultural development. Teams will work together. And yeah, we will make it as inclusive, impactful, and scalable as possible.
Thank you, Matt. So I got a message from Zigaretta that she's here with us. She had problems with her microphone. So I will take her on next. But if there are any questions to Matt regarding the simulation, I see there's something in chat. Has somebody monitored the chat, Dragana? Is there anything that we need to pick up on now?
Tigereda wrote in the chat.
Okay, then let me just move back and start with Zigaretta now. So again, we'll have Tsigareda from EDI. I hope, Tsigareda, you can talk now. Let's hear your mic.
Can you hear me now, Anya?
Yes, perfect. Super. So then let us hear from Tsigareda about the Intercom competency framework. The floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Anya. Thank you, everyone, for being here. So I'm going to talk about Intercom framework, which is one of the important tools in AgriMock E.
You are off again.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, now.
Hello? Okay.
Yes, yes.
So, okay, before jumping directly to the what Intercom framework is, I will briefly talk about the historical development of the Intercom framework. So in late 1990s and early 2000, the European began to face slowdown in its economy, while developing countries like China, India, Indonesia become increasingly important and competitive in the global market. So in response to that challenge, the EU has promoted a principle of knowledge-based economy. So this principle helped the European Union to present 8 key competencies area, which will be important for anyone or any individual or in this modern life. So based on that foundation, the European Commission introduced Entrepreneurial Competency Framework, better known as Intercom, in 2016. So this Intercom framework basically tries to integrate the entrepreneurial competencies into education and training programs. By doing so, the Intercom program tries to equip individuals, learners, participants with the skills and competencies that are important to thrive in this competitive environment. So the Intercom competency believe that these entrepreneurial competencies are not only important for businesses or for entrepreneurs only, but they are very important or primarily important for personal development than for businesses. So this framework believes that the entrepreneurial competencies are transferable competencies that can be applied in all spheres of life. So it can start primarily from fostering personal development, then making individuals or participants being an active participant in the community, contributing to the community, and will make anyone who took or who learned this competency a very active or competent player in the market, in the labor market, as well as it will help individuals to run successful businesses. Next slide, please. So this framework basically built around 15 entrepreneurial competencies under 3 areas. The first area is ideas and opportunity. The second area is resource, and the third area is into action. So in each area, we can find 5 competencies. So under idea and opportunity area, you can see that we have framework like spotting opportunity, creativity, ethical and sustainable thinking, which are very important for anyone who or anybody in any work space. So under resource, you can see that we have self-awareness, self-efficacy, mobilizing resource, motivation, and perseverance, and the other 2. So under into action category, we can see that we have competencies like taking the initiatives, which is very important competency. Also learning through experience, mobilizing with others, come with the other 2. So here what you need to know is that these competencies are equally important and can be applied in any spheres of life. These competencies can be applied in anywhere. So going to the group discussion, Anya will help us to set a group and we are going to do a group discussion. So in the group discussion, what we are supposed to do is that we are going to pick the most critical competency that can be applied in e-internship program. I know that most of you came from different countries. Most of you came from Africa and Europe. So which competency do you think are the most important and why? So Anya, you will help us with setting the group.
Yeah, so I will send you to groups automatically. You might just have to accept being sent to the room then you'll meet in your group. And I will copy this list into the chat if you want to have a look at it again. And then after 5, 6, 7 minutes, I will call you back into the main session. And then we'll ask 2 or 3 of you to present your findings. All right, so I'm now sending you to your groups. Give me a sec.
Thank you, Anya. Okay.
All right. Those of you who are still here in the main room, please accept being sent to your group. There's still a few people here with me in the main group. If you don't want to go to your group, we can also have a discussion here. Could you open your mics or go to your group? What can I help you with, Tamini?
So how can we get the competencies, list of competencies?
Yeah, I put it in the chat.
Okay.
So once we go into the breakaway room, we can't access the chat.
You are already in the breakout room and you should be able to see the chat still. If you click on the chat button.
In this chat or?
Yeah, there's like the main chat. If you just go to the chat button, you should be able to see the list.
Yes.
Mm.
In the list, like where all the icons are, there's one that's called chat. If you click on that, you should be able to open the chat.
Hello, team.
So could you get?
Yes, can I list them?
Just put on our chat. Put on our chat.
Okay, wait me.
Send it to you directly, Mengistu.
Yes.
I've checked the chat. I just send it to you directly.
Okay. Yes. Yes. I got it.
All right. Then I leave you to it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Is everybody back? All groups back in the main
Not
floor?
yet. We have like 20 something people.
Okay. Let's wait for the last group
to
join us as well. I hope you all had good discussions.
So I hope you all had a great discussion and
طيب ايش
so
في التجربة؟ مرحبا.
Somebody please mute. So can you reflect on what are the 3 critical competencies that you have selected? Can we hear reflection from the groups?
If you don't mind, yeah, team 2.
Yeah.
So team 2, I think the thing that we have, and the rest of our team can interject, was
Okay.
we all kind of like had different ones. But we came to the conclusion that, you know, my top one was probably spotting opportunities, but we also have motivation, persevering, and ethical and sustainability. You know, you can't really argue with any of them there. If they're top for one person, it's fine. It's not like there's any ones on there that we don't agree with. It's just opinion as to what one you probably would have as the top 3. So that was our takeaway. That I picked up. That our takeaway was they're all good, and it's just opinion as to which one is top for an individual.
Yeah. So these competencies are all equally important, but it might vary. The importance might vary from situation to situation or economic landscape to economic landscape. That's why we need to discuss from the European perspective, from the African perspective, especially relating to the e-internship program and to our youth. What would be the most important and critical competency they need to develop first, then it's important for them to acquire all the competencies all together, but we, as you said, you may not agree on it at all. So any reflection from the other groups?
Hello.
Yes.
Yes, in our group, discuss also all are important. Even if one group member choose mobilizing resource is the critical one, and the other motivation and persistence. Actually 2 of us are discussed. 1 members are missed in the group, so two of us choose mobilizing resource, and motivation and persistence are critical, and the other is learning through experience.
Okay, thank you.
All are important, but the 3 are critical for entrepreneurs.
All right. So I think they are important, especially mobilizing resource in our context, in Ethiopian context. When you face with youth, you might hear them complaining about scarcity of resource, while we have so many resources that at hand that we can utilize. And self initiative is also important because their motivation to do or to engage in any activity sometimes goes down through time, so that's also important. I think this competency, the importance might vary from situations. So we can go back to the other slide. Thank you all for your reflection. So why intercom is important in our situation? Why is it one of the tools that we use in our e-internship program? Since the AgriMock e-internship program is going to invite real-life entrepreneurs with real-life business experience, the participant or the trainees who are going to participate in our AgriMock e-internship programs will have a chance to solve real-life business problems through various virtual training sessions that we are going to run for 6 weeks. So when they work as a team, they are going to brainstorm different business ideas. They are going to identify opportunities, assess a possible solution based on the problem they have at hand. It will give them a chance to be more creative and also help them to mobilize resources and also help them to manage resources. So this AgriMock internship program will boost their entrepreneurial competencies by giving them the e-internship program as a platform to exercise the intercom competencies. So the key takeaway from our this presentation could be this intercom framework. It's not just a framework, but it's a bridge. When we say it's a bridge, we all face, as higher educational staff, we face problem with student not able to apply what they have learned in theory into their work. So if we put such kind of tool or framework into place, for example, like e-internship program, it will give them a chance to exercise what they have learned in theory into practice. So it will minimize the gap that we see between theory and practice. Most of the time, employers complain about how the job seekers are unable to fulfill the need from the employer perspective. So these competencies will help them. In addition to the hard skill they have, these competencies will help them to be competitive and being able to perform their jobs well. So this framework is very important to be integrated in any education or training programs. So thank you everyone for listening. This is Gereda from EDI. Over to you, Anne.
Thank you so much, Sigrid. I'm very happy that we were able to get you back on with your mic. So now let me jump forward because we need to move on to Tembeni's presentation. Tembeni is taking us back to South Africa and Nikosa as well, like Namfundo. And Tembeni is going to talk about career guidance in e-internship. Tembeni, can you hear us?
Yes, Anya, I can hear you. Thank you very
Super.
much. I'm just gonna show my face a bit, and then I'm gonna hide it again. All right. The introduction to career guidance. Why we need career guidance in this e-internship. So, career guidance is basically the key component of anyone's life. And those who get to be exposed to it, depending on how it's delivered, it is something that is valuable and impactful in their lives, and in that it paves their way in terms of their career pathing. It will help tackle youth unemployment. It helps with skills mismatch. It improves employability skills of our youth, the learners or students. And this platform, which is AgriMocks, gives us an opportunity to grow career development through virtual exchange. We are already doing career guidance, but through this exposure and this platform, we're gaining tools from other countries and other ways of doing things, which improves the way we deliver career guidance through digital tools, institutional collaboration, learnings from others as well. What is working and what is not working? What can we improve and make better? So insights from partner countries will help us see common challenges, use unique innovations. Sorry about that. And also, it will help us to get clear opportunities in order to strengthen the delivery of career guidance, particularly because things are moving forward in terms of using digitization, in this case, the internship, which allows us to deliver these courses or programs to many people than to a few group of people that we work with. The next slide, please. So the benefits of career guidance, I know many organizations do offer some sort of, or some don't even offer. In South Africa, it's not a prioritized topic. It's a by the way, or when we have time, we do it. But the benefits that you get with career guidance, I just hope that it starts being prioritized in schools, in universities, in our youth organizations, because for me, it's a foundation of anything that we are doing. Whether we are doing any programs of whatever sort in our own organizations, for me, this is the foundation and the start of whatever we are doing. So the benefits for the students is that they get clarity, sorry, and direction for their future. It also helps them to reduce anxiety about their subject and career choices. It will improve their academic performance because they know why they have to study and they know why they're there and they have an understanding of where they're going. It will also motivate them to keep engaged in whatever they are studying and doing. It will also help them to have a strong job readiness, which is, in this case, employability skills. The benefits for schools and universities will be the learners or the universities will be better aligned between the programs and the labor market, because it does often happen that whatever is being offered at universities or in whatever institutions is misaligned to what is being demanded by the labor market. Therefore, you then find that there's high unemployment because whatever the youth or young people are studying does not align to what the labor market needs. It improves retention and graduation rates. So dropout rates are reduced and retention is improved. Then stronger industry partnerships, because now you are trusted as a university. So I know we are youth organizations today, but this particular one is talking about the benefit, is talking about universities and schools. So there's a stronger partnership in that the labor market trusts that you are bringing them a pool of students that are competent to the skills that they are needing. So there's better partnerships, and then there's better collaboration between the universities and the labor market. More employable graduates, like I said, they will have employability skills. Benefits for the economy is that the skills will now be aligned with the labor market, and the unemployment will be reduced, and then stronger innovation and entrepreneurship, because the young person understands themselves better. They are confident about who they are. They know where they are going and why they have to go there. They see opportunities. They are able to stand on their own and identify opportunities on their own, whether through employment or through entrepreneurship. Next slide, please. So factors that influence career decisions include, so these are factors that when a young person decides on their careers, these are the factors that influence them, like subject choices. If I choose a subject or I intend to follow a certain career path, and in grade 9, I happen to choose subjects that don't align with those with that particular career path. Let's say someone wants to be an engineer and they end up choosing maths literacy. By just choosing maths literacy, they have locked themselves out of the engineering space or science space. So and most of them discover when they in matric that they've chosen the wrong subject, and it's late by that time, particularly when you have to do mathematics. Family expectations. A lot of young people have their own ideas, things that they want to pursue. Some have an idea why they want to do them. Some don't even know what they want to do. Hence, career guidance is there to assist them. So families do put a pressure on the learner's decision. So it varies in different countries. Some family decisions are still taken as important. Some families are there to support rather than to enforce their decision. Some, like I said, it varies. Cultural values here at home, we are doctors, we don't pursue other careers, and other careers are looked down upon. And when you pursue that particular career that is not aligned with the family's expectations, then you become a black sheep of the family, etc., etc. Economic realities. You find that you choose a career, by the time you're done, either whatever you've chosen is now redundant because technology has taken over, or there's an oversupply of that particular skill. Opportunities available again, like I mentioned in the previous slide, that there's a mismatch of skills with what the economy requires and what the universities are producing. So the opportunities available versus what is being studied needs to align and talk to one another. So the current state of career guidance in terms of the challenges that that will happen if one does not get career guidance or any guidance of some sort regarding the person's career is misaligned study choices. This often happens when the application opens and the person did not apply on time. So they take whatever's available. So whatever's available means you are just filling up a space that could not be filled. So whether that choice that you are making will lead to better opportunities or not, you only discover once you've graduated. So if you don't know why you're studying what you're studying, then you are misaligned. And whatever you're studying, if it doesn't align to who you are also misaligned, because you're gonna either drop out or you're not gonna enjoy what you are studying. You're gonna force yourself throughout the program until you are finished. So you either drop out or you switch the course. The next one is skills gap. Anya, are you aligned? Skills gap and skills mismatch. I won't dwell on this. I did touch on it slightly from the previous slide. Low motivation and disengagement. If I don't love what I'm studying or I'm not interested in it, I will have low motivation or I'll be disengaged to participate in it. Therefore, it's going to affect my performance. Long-term unemployment and underemployment. The results of no career guidance leads to unemployment because whatever you're studying is not aligned with what the economy needs. And underemployment meaning you have studied, but you have graduated, and you find that we have people with master's degrees, but whatever they've studied is not needed by the economy. So either you go and create employment yourself, or you go back and study something that is needed by the economy. Limited access to job opportunities. Again, when you when you have not done enough work in terms of what is available, looking for opportunities, scanning your environment, you're just going to be studying for the sake of studying. So it's going to affect job opportunities. Limited access to resources does affect this space because people in the rural areas don't have access to information, to resources to offer this or offer career guidance. And also it sometimes becomes difficult to access them because of no electricity, so you can't connect to them digitally. So it means you only tap into that small group that you end up able to connect to and offer the program. So virtually and e-internship, hopefully it will help us to scale and give access to other youth organizations so that they are able to offer it on their own in those particular areas. Insufficient time to implement career guidance. Like I mentioned, it becomes a by the way program. It is not prioritized. Therefore, the main thing that is prioritized is the curriculum, or there isn't enough professionals that are offering it. So those people that end up offering it, because they don't have the skills to offer it, they don't spend enough time to understand what it is. So they just do it for the sake of doing it. Lack of formal and structure, meaning it's not a prioritized program, so it doesn't take priority. There aren't formal structures in place. There aren't policies in place where career guidance is concerned. Negative perceptions of the agri sector. Young people are migrating from the rural areas into the cities for better opportunities because they don't see agriculture as opportunity, as a way of doing a business or working. So they will leave the rural areas to go for better opportunities. Shortage of trained professionals, I did touch on this. Limited access for disadvantaged groups, meaning people from rural areas or low income groups, or people from other countries don't get prioritized when it comes to opportunities. Next slide. So currently, the career guidance framework includes self-awareness, career exploration, career decision-making, planning and goal setting. All of these are key. So whatever we will be doing is to enhance all of this. This is still going to be there, but the way we're going to be doing it, we're just going to be doing it in a different way to enhance it and make it more interesting and more engaging and more accessible. And why? Is because the world is changing fast. Traditional methods, manual assessments, and career days, yes, they are needed, but they are not enough. And one day engagement where career guidance is concerned is not enough. It's a journey. It doesn't end in one day or start in one day and end in one day. It's a journey. There's a digital need, and experiential and personalized methods. Youth require guidance that fit global, hybrid, and technology-driven realities because that's what the future is going to be demanding from them. So better they be exposed to these type of realities early. Next slide, please. E-internship as a model is an innovative way to offer career guidance because it helps us identify interests and talents and matching with professions. Yes, we do that in traditional ways, but this e-internship platform is going to help us to do it in an interesting, engaging way, and in a virtual platform format. Testing of talents and interests and career tracking systems will be introduced because it helps us to track the person's journey where their career is concerned. And basically, it's a CV that a person puts together, but in a practical way. So students and youth will find a safe space to discover their strengths and preferences. So all of this that we are doing encompasses all of what we'll be doing is basically to equip this person, to get them ready and to help them to be confident and bold and be future ready for whatever career path they decide to choose, or to help them with whatever they've chosen already to make better decisions and make it work for themselves. They will have opportunity to discover the structure, roles, and responsibilities in a company and to identify possible opportunities and business opportunities. Basically, this sums up all the presentations that my colleagues and partners have mentioned, in that this is why we're doing what we're doing. All the entrepreneurship, the intra-comp, and everything else is summed up in this slide. To say through career guidance, this will be done. And then mentor-led sessions, they practice writing CVs and application letters. They conduct mock interviews, work together in teams of peers in a real company, like in a simulation format. There will be peer-to-peer learning. Students will mentor each other, and this will be facilitated discussions on goals, challenges, and opportunities. They will discuss, they'll be encouraged. Group learnings will be encouraged, and shared experiences across the different countries will be encouraged. Next slide. Oh, you're already there. Opportunity scouting helps them to gather information from external and internal environments so that they align their potential and to their environment versus the opportunities that are available internally, as well as opportunities that are available globally. Next slide. And innovative assessment tools will be used. For example, career matching tools, interactive personality assessments. Anya will take us through a quick example of a tool that will be used for the assessment. Anya, over to you.
I will need a second because I need to get out of here and log on to the platform to do that. Maybe, I don't know, let me just see how quickly I can do this. Give me a sec. All right. Let me go back here. It would take a minute. Okay. All right. So let me share again my screen. Okay. So one tool, for example, that we will use, can you see my screen again?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so when we do career guidance, one of the topics is for young people to start discovering themselves, their personality, their strengths, their talents, their interests, but also the way they handle different situations, and to just give them a fun opportunity to dive into that topic. On the learning platform, they will find something like this where we have descriptions of different animal personalities, and then they can actually do, I want to see, oh God, that maybe it was blocked here. They can do a personality test. So I would like one of you to just answer the questions so we can see what kind of personality you are. Do we have a volunteer for this exercise? Just somebody? Nobody wants to volunteer?
I'll volunteer.
You volunteer. Okay. So we click on start, and the first question is, how do you typically engage with others? A, I thrive on socializing and enjoy interacting with many different people. B, I work best with a close-knit group of people forming deep bonds. C, I prefer solitude or staying close to only a small trusted circle. And D, I observe and learn from others before interacting cautiously.
B.
B. All right. Second question. How do you approach complex problems or challenges? A, I use creative, unconventional strategies and think outside the box. B, I rely on strategy, cunning, or careful observations to get the best outcome. C, I stick to known methods or avoid the challenge when possible.
B.
B again. Okay. How do you respond to new environments or changing circumstances? A, I adapt quickly, learn from my surroundings, and seek innovative solutions. B, I observe carefully and act when confident or safe. C, I prefer familiar routines and environments.
A.
A. Next question. How do you function in situations requiring cooperation? A, I take initiative and lead or organize my group. B, I work independently, relying on my own skills and judgment. C, I adapt as needed, sometimes helping, sometimes observing.
C.
C. How do you respond to the struggles or emotions of others? A, I naturally offer comfort, protection, or assistance even to strangers. B, I show empathy to selected people with whom I sometimes even form unexpected deep connections. C, I mainly focus on myself or my close circle, helping only when necessary or asked to help. D, I mostly focus on my own interests, but notice and respond to important changes around me.
A.
A. How do you approach learning and acquiring new skills? A, I quickly learn new things and adapt my approach creatively. B, I use cleverness and observation to solve problems, sometimes slowly but effectively. C, I learn steadily and prefer tried and true methods.
B.
And then, how do you relate to loved ones or things you care about? A, I form deep, lasting bonds and may make sacrifices for others. B, I'm empathetic or nurturing but maintain independence. C, I enjoy relationships, but I also need personal space. D, I mostly focus on myself, but pay attention to changes around me or important cues.
C.
C?
Yes.
Okay, last question. How do you respond to dangers or threats? A, I use clever tactics or escape strategies to outsmart danger. B, I protect others or my group even at personal risk. C, I rely on stealth, caution, and observation. D, I carefully assess threats and adapt my behavior to avoid danger.
A.
All right, let's see who you are. Ta-da-da-da. You are a fox. You're smart, resourceful, and agile in both thought and action. You excel at navigating challenges and thrive when you can combine independence with strategic connections. Well done.
Yay. Thank you. Sounds interesting. Thanks, Anya. So this is one of the tools that we'll be using for assessments. It's one of them. There are others that are out there that we are going to be introducing.
Yeah.
And the last slide is actually conclusion. To say career guidance is a necessity, not a luxury. It requires innovation, technology, and collaboration for us to empower our youth, who will then align themselves to opportunities, who will approach life with confidence and boldness, who will embrace themselves and embrace who they are, their own strengths and their own weaknesses, who will stop comparing themselves to others, who will approach life with boldness and confidence. And this actually helps them to deal with mental health issues. So thank you so much for the opportunity. I'm done.
Thank you very much, Tembeni, for the insight into what the career guidance part of our program will look like. And with that, I would like to invite our last speaker, Marco from Serbia. He works for an organization called Webin. Marco, are you with us?
Yes, Anya, I am.
Super. Thank you.
Can I have authorization to share the slide, please?
Yes, absolutely. Let me just
Thank you.
quickly give you. You should be, right. Yes, you should be able to do that now. And then I will stop sharing and shut up.
Yes, so the document, where is the document? No. Yep. Yeah, so I suppose you see the presentation. Oh. Yeah, so I will I will maybe reduce my presentation today, given that it is almost half past four, sorry. So I guess that we all struggle with focus to follow presentations. This is not a good part of the day for presentations. So I will just reflect on the topic of Module 4, which is to say something about e-internships. Why do we organize e-internships, and what does this form of learning refer to, and about the concepts of advocacy and policy making on one side and civic participation on another side. So when we come to e-internships, for most of us, this is the novel method of collaboration with our students, our youth workers, our learners, people who learn from us. And it was inspired during those hard times and lockdowns during Corona, when we were not able to move. So there were many efforts to develop novel ways of collaborative work from home, from the distance, and the e-internship is one of those inventions. When we say the internship, it refers to the learning process where we at the real working environment, see how the activities in our occupation are being done, and we gain some experience in this real working environment, and we learn about our occupation, about the job that we are being educated for or trained for, and we gain some new knowledge. We learn about new concepts, about new theories, about the facts. We also develop some new skills. We learn with our arms to do something, to create something, to change something, to make the change. And finally, we also address our attitudes, the views, how we see our work, and the values around that we deploy or employ at this work, and so on. So this is about the e-internship, and about the internship, regular internship. So there is a question: what kind of internship could be transferred to e-internship, electronic or virtual internships, and many people think that most internships could at least partly be organized as electronic internships, at least those parts where we need to develop some new knowledge or gain some new knowledge and address our attitudes, and maybe even where we are expected to develop some skills, because office work is not as same as the farm work. So office work, we may most probably fully conduct electronic internship in this form virtually when we speak about office work, but when we speak about farm work, e-internship can maybe only partly be done electronically. And this is what we collaborate upon here in this project in AgriMocks. We are collaboratively developing a virtual internship where we will have some experiences from the office, but we will also speak about farming, about agriculture, agribusiness, agri-entrepreneurship, innovations in agriculture, and entrepreneurship in agriculture. So, yeah, what else would I like to share with you about the internships? It's yes, there are many occasions where e-internships are very, very convenient. For example, in the regions which are distant, in the regions which are remote, in the regions where there is no good uh, public infrastructure, roads, public transportation, where there is limited safety, or where the safety is and the rule of law is a big issue, and any region, any area where physical mobility is for any reason restricted or aggravated, e-internships could be a very convenient way how to involve people in learning process and keep them in training. What we need for e-internships, apart from the good program and good facilitators and presenters, we also need internet and computer. So I guess that in most cases this will not be an issue, because today we can even use our smartphones for communication, listening, and sharing ideas. What else is important in my view is that we as educators, that we also are open for new forms of learning, that we are open for the new instruments that we will be using, and that we are open to change the classroom with the Moodle platform or any other platform used for e-internship. What else for the learners and students? It is also positive that they can pick and choose basically, and have this flexible learning, create their own flexible learning pathway. So that at the end, any effort invested in this and any time spent on e-internship provides for relevant experience, relevant knowledge, high demand knowledge adapted to learning needs of our own. And yeah, I would move now to civic participation, a very important concept for everyday life. Civic participation refers to our participation in the society, in decision making, policy making, and taking part in those social processes which we find important and relevant for us and our families and our work and any other legitimate interest we may have in any social situation. So normally people participate through any available and legally allowed form, which is the NGOs, volunteering, political participation, and social entrepreneurship. And what is important here, never to forget, is that civic participation is based on our constitutional rights to speak freely, to move freely, and to associate and collaborate and do anything what is not legally forbidden and restricted. So one of the forms of civic participation is advocacy, which is a concept where we give the voice to people in need, We represent through advocacy certain legitimate interest of our own or of a wider group. General interest, particular interest, it doesn't matter. Any interest is a legitimate interest, and through advocacy we are presenting those interests to our interlocutors on the other side, who are normally people in the position of taking decisions, making policies, and so on. So through advocacy, we are communicating our interests to those who are in power in order to influence their decisions and make them think differently and make different decisions more aligned with our interests. When I say interests, I'm not referring only to personal interests, which are also legitimate, but I here mostly refer to interests of wider groups like farmers, farmer unions, students, student unions, employees unions, and any other groups that are in any way disadvantaged and that we would like through our civic participation, public engagement to support, help, aid, and make any non-profit contribution. So, yep. There will be many more details about advocacy as a concept of informing, awareness raising, educating, campaigning, influencing the policymakers in our module 4. The idea with this segment is to capacitate students and youth workers with this very important horizontal soft skill and competence. And competence which is applicable in many spheres of life, especially in professional life, but also in private life. So I wouldn't go further with this. I would stop here, and if you have any questions or you would like to present any specific detail, I'm open to. If not, I would like to wish you to have a great weekend. Anya, may I give you back the floor?
Right, you're already done because we still have basically half an hour, but we can also stop here. Let me switch on my camera. You were very fast. So I thank you for your presentation, and I thank everybody who was here and met with us today in this webinar. I hope you found it interesting. If you have any questions or comments, we still have some time to address them now. So I would, if you unshare, Marco, then we can see everybody.
Yes, sorry, just to see how to share. All right. No, well, I stopped sharing.
Why do I
Right.
still see your screen?
Yeah. All right. Sorry, I did not stop sharing, but wait.
Yeah, here we go.
Okay.
All
Thank you.
right. So, then I would open the floor for any questions or comments from the audience. Tambini has raised her hand.
Thank you, Anya. I would just like you to please maybe reiterate why we needed the youth organizations, because some of them had not joined when you were explaining earlier.
What do you, I'm not sure I understand your question, Tambini.
So I was asking maybe if you can reiterate how the organizations can assist us. The FOPs you were explaining earlier, some of them joined late. Maybe if you can reiterate.
Okay. So if they are friends of the project or they are youth organizations that would like to join us, let me go back to the very, very first beginning of this. Nope. Need to open it again. Sorry. One here. It's much annoying here. Okay. Here. Okay. So what Tembini was referring to is that we work with a group of what we call Friends of the Project, and other youth organizations can be part of this. And what we invite you to do is to actually, can this be moved? Yes. Just help us strengthen the whole outreach of this project by being part of it. So one thing that you could do is participate in all of our activities. You could be one of the facilitators in the program that will receive special training, like for running the simulation, for example, or being mentors in the mentor-led sessions, or co-mentors with parts of our program, and then take part in all of these initiatives. You could also, on the other hand, use our program to strengthen yours and to improve the offer that you have for youth that work with you. And by that also help us to multiply our work by bringing your youth or your participants that usually take part in your normal program to enroll them into the AgriMocks program and let them enjoy the e-internship. So there's both pathways. You could become one of our facilitators and take part on that side, or you could just bring your normal youth on board as participants in the AgriMocks program. Is that what you were looking for, Tembeni?
Yes, I was, Anya. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any other questions from the floor or comments? I would like to also hear your feedback because we have still some time. It would be nice to also maybe get some feedback of what you think about the program.
There's a question. It says, great presentations today. How do we access this advocacy support?
Okay. So if you are in connection with any of us, you can keep the conversation going, but also everybody who has registered for this webinar here will be contacted at the start of the next year when we will open the learning platform, and we will put up the dates for the first series of internships. We will send out notifications so that you can enroll. If you want to become a facilitator because you are head of a youth organization, maybe you contact Tembeni or any of us directly so that we can start enrolling you into the facilitator training program.
Anya?
Yes.
Yeah, there was a question from Casa Mbaye who wanted to know if you'll share the presentations with them for further reference. And yeah, there was no answer that was provided for that.
Oh, okay. I hadn't planned to, but I can still do that because I have all of your email addresses, so I can share it. It's quite a big folder, so I hope your internet will support downloading such a big file, but we can try.
Yeah. A further question from Tishale Migetu. Migebu. How do we relate such topic with disability inclusion?
It's a very good question, and actually one of our strengths, because through online learning, we can include people who have mobility issues, for example, people who would usually struggle to attend a course because they cannot go to a certain location. At the convenience of just being at home and looking at their phone or their laptop if they have one, this would be a lot easier for them to access such a program. The online platform is also structured in such a way that it supports people with reading disabilities or visual disabilities, and by, for example, we have a lot of voiceovers in our lessons, or if there is a picture, then there will also be like a description of the picture if they can't see the picture and so on. So we have made a lot of efforts to actually ensure that we can include people with challenges, disabilities as much as possible. What do we have? We have Nonks. Thank you so much. This has been very powerful. I can see it changing lives in our communities, and there are quite a number of young people that are keen and interested in agriculture ventures. Look forward to the next step as explained. Yes, we also look forward to working with you. Yeah. Is that Jackson has given us an email. Is that different from the email that you registered with? Because otherwise I have all of your email addresses. Let me copy that anyway. Okay. Any other comments, questions for the floor for anybody from the team?
Yes, Anya, I just wanted to know whether the register would be updated, because we had some people that registered this morning because their names were not appearing yesterday.
No, everybody who has registered is in our list. That is not an issue.
Thank you.
So there's a question from Mengits too. What will be our target? Do you think all have internet or all have internet and other infrastructure?
Okay. So this is one question that we would like to start deliberating on with people who organize youth groups or lead youth groups generally, to see what the infrastructure provisions in your regions are. So obviously, because this is an internet-based program, participants will need to have access to some sort of device and internet. We cannot provide hardware or internet connectivity, but maybe young people can come together in a classroom or in a group session so that they can access the sessions together in one room, so that they do not need to have individual devices or individual internet connectivity. So this is, if you are interested in working with us and becoming one of the multipliers, then we will invite you to another session where we can discuss these kind of details. Jackson says he works with a lot of youth groups. Yes, that would be very interesting to hear from your experience. Great. Then I would like to ask you to switch on your cameras quickly so that we can take a group picture. Still missing a few. Jackson, Nonks, Eop, Sigareda, can you switch on your cameras so that I can see all of you? Adisalam, please switch on your cameras. I would like to see all of you. All right. Let me take a screenshot. Thank you very much. I'm going to share it with you in the chat. Here we go. So then I would like to thank all of you for being here today, and I wish you a lovely weekend. And to all of my colleagues from across Africa, thank you for your contributions. See you soon.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.